So tonight's talk is multiple topics. I tried to share what I learned from a conference recently, which is about classical education, specifically Aristotle's classical rhetoric. So that's the kind of an intellectual side. There's some personal interest for me because I'm currently in the process of educating 3 young kids, and this classical education and rhetoric is specifically interesting to me. And then what I've done at the end is I've applied it to the encyclical Evangelium Vitae, which we'll all go through together. So this was 2 weeks ago at FIU. There was a summit on classical education. I'd probably guess that a lot of you were classically educated. Nowadays, it's kind of a smaller movement that's growing, but basically the movement is focusing on the transcendentals, the true, the good, the beautiful. It focuses on the humanities, the things that make us human, like art and music. It focuses on classical literature, and it follows a very structured pedagogy of teaching children. So they had a summit at FIU. The man on the right is the president of True North Classical Academy, if you're familiar with that school. So he was kind of a keynote speaker there. And this is an annual event that they're going to keep bringing back to Miami. So there's 3 topics for today. One is reasons for rhetoric. So what is it? Why should we care? Second is how Aristotle argues. And the third one is topics for life. Now, topics for life is a little bit of a pun, because Aristotle calls his tools for arguing topics. He calls them topos. And they're tools for our lives, but it's also, in this case, for vitae, life. So, let's get into it. So, can someone tell me why rhetoric is important?
Is that a rhetorical question?
Good one. So rhetoric is the art of persuasion. Why would the art of persuasion be important?
Evangelization.
For evangelization? What else?
I wanted to get the truth out of the whole. What's the truth?
To get to the truth?
Politics.
For politics? Yeah. I think it's important to even just convey ideas, to persuade other people. Politics, and I think what Dr. Anton said, for God's glory, right, ultimately, the better we are at rhetoric, the better we can spread his kingdom. So, on the paper you have, this is the activity we're going to do. I want you to write as many arguments as you can, as many, so go for volume, for why your wife should, I'm just kidding.
Learn how to cook.
Let's do why your friend should visit the agrupación. So write out, and we'll just do 3 minutes, as many arguments as you can for why your friend should visit the agrupación. Okay, some of you have a lot of reasons. Let's share some. Who would like to share one of their arguments?
Get closer to God, learn about God, love God, serve God, save our souls, save the souls of others, make friends, find like-minded people, lead a God-centered life. What else do you want?
Wow. Yes.
Let us have something.
Huh?
Number one, to help bring society back to Christ. And the rest, I would say, I'm going to start copying what you said.
Anyone have a different argument?
To well formed in my faith and in my profession. To
Different
explore
argument.
what God's plan is for me, a brotherhood of generally good men.
Very good.
It is based on the purpose.
Child of Mary.
Become a child of Mary. That's a good one.
A way to follow Jesus through apostolic work.
A way to follow Jesus. Wow, all different angles on what you can get from the same thing. Yes.
A true formation of a man in Christ.
Oh, that's a very good one. Wow. Okay. Anyone else have one they really want to share? Yes.
Off the top of my head, don't laugh at the first one. Free food. Second bullet point, what is our? Third bullet point, as we get more serious, peer pressure, because Pepito, my friend, comes, so I'm going with Pepito.
Yep.
And the last statement, which is more, I am curious about the mission statement of the agrupación. What is the mission statement of the agrupación? Forming Catholic professional men as leaders for the propagation of the faith. Am I right? I think that's the one that you turn someone on besides the free food. Next question.
Excellent, excellent. So what we did was we immediately had these arguments that came immediately to mind, but sometimes you run out and you don't know where to go next. And that's what we are going to talk about next, which is how Aristotle approaches the problem of I ran out of ideas. Okay? So first we're going to learn about Aristotle. What does studying Aristotle and working at the McDonald's fry station have in common?
Say it again.
What does studying Aristotle and working the fry station at McDonald's have in common?
Reality.
You learn to appreciate ancient Greece. That's a dad joke. Okay.
That was good.
So, does anyone know where Aristotle is in this picture? Which one? Left of center? No, that's Plato. Yes. Correct. Aristotle's the one with his hand out. So you got Plato with the older man with the beard and Aristotle next to him. This is the School of Athens by Raphael. So a little bit about Aristotle. Born in 384 BC. Student of Plato, tutor of Alexander the Great. What do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? The same middle name. Okay, another dad joke. Okay, so he wrote the Metaphysics, so he's kind of the guy that brought substance and essence into our vocabulary. He's a philosopher. Aquinas calls him the philosopher. He's a scientist. He went into biology, astronomy. He classified something like 500 animal species. He gave us a list of virtues and their accompanying vices in his ethics. And he took great interest in politics and economics. And that's really one of the main reasons that he says rhetoric is important, is for politics. He says he made a systematic study of logic. So systematic meaning he broke it down into its parts and how words in a sentence can relate to each other and how arguments can relate to each other. One of the things he was most famous for are syllogisms. So syllogism is like all men are mortal, all Greek are men, all Greeks are mortal. That was one of Aristotle's syllogisms. And with regards to rhetoric, there were three ancient arts of discourse. Okay, these are called the trivium, and they're taught today in these classical schools. So first is grammar, how to read, write, form sentences. Second is logic, so how to use those words to form maybe a syllogism like that. And the third one is rhetoric, which is using your argument to persuade, using your logic to persuade. Okay, so the concept we're discussing is called the common topics. And a topos or topoi in Greek means a place. So Aristotle, can be translated to common topics or common places, which I think is an apt metaphor because they're really places in your brain, different doors you can open to find arguments. So we're going to go through them now. Each door poses a question for your argument. Why should my friend come to the ACU? Each door gives you a question, and you can use that answer in your argument, or you can discard it and pick another one. It's just a mental exploration. Okay? So, here they are. There are 5 topics: definition, circumstance, comparison, testimony, and relationship. And then each topic has subtopics. So, I'm going to go through each one, and I'm just going to give an example for some of them, but all the examples are listed up there. So genus, something is part of a family, something greater. The ACU is part of the Catholic Church. It's part of the Jesuit organization. It's part of a Marian sodality. That's using the genus argument. Someone said it's a Catholic fraternity. You could say maybe it's part of this genus of Catholic things or things that are like fraternities. There's also division. You could divide it into parts. What's its species? What's its essence? Let's talk about circumstance. So circumstance is what is actually possible. So then you have what's possible versus impossible, what's a past fact that happened, and what's a future fact that probably will happen. So let's use the past fact. Last time I brought you to a church event, you thanked me, and you told me I really needed that. That's a past fact, and that's why you should come to the ACU. Comparison. What's something like? What's it similar to? What's it different from? Is it more than something? Less than something? Using similarity, you could say it's similar to a men's fraternity. It's similar to a Bible study. Is it a Bible study? No, but it has some similarities. Testimony. The authority, the Surgeon General says this, I witnessed this. A maxim, which is a phrase that's commonly accepted. What does the law say? Is there a precedent for something, and are there statistics to support it? I will say that in a lot of modern arguments we see statistics. We see a lot of cause and effect, which is the last category. But these were mostly all developed in Aristotle's time. Some came later by the Romans. But let's use a statistic I heard one time. The ACU has a divorce rate of X%. Well, that's a compelling statistic. I don't remember. Maybe it was.
It was 1%.
It was 1%?
It was in Cuba, but it was 1%.
Okay, the Cuban divorce rate is 1%.
No, not Cuba. The ACU members in Cuba, not Cuba.
Down the rabbit hole.
Perfect. So then relationship, you have cause and effect, antecedent and its consequence, contraries and contradictions. And I will give you an example of antecedent and consequence, which someone said, if you come, you will get a free dinner, and I will introduce you to some great men. That's antecedent and consequence. Okay? So, we're going to move into the third part, which is applying this to Evangelium Vitae. Okay, has anyone read Evangelium Vitae? A lot of people. I think this is kind of like a softball encyclical for this group. So here we go. So promulgated March 25th, 1995. In Latin, it means the gospel of life. And it's all about the sacredness and dignity of human life. So this was in response to abortion, the death penalty, in vitro fertilization, and euthanasia. Okay? So Keep your pens. I'm going to give you all 6 excerpts from Evangelium Vitae, and I'm going to put the common topics back on the screen, and we're going to see if we can identify them in JP2's writing. Sound good? Okay. Pass fail. So just read them. Here are the topics up on the screen. And as you read each one, write down below it which topic and subtopic is being used. And then we'll discuss together as a group. All right, ready? Who got them all right? Okay, let's do the first one. Today, this proclamation is especially pressing because of the extraordinary increase in gravity of threats to life of individuals and peoples, especially where life is weak and defenseless. In addition to the ancient scourges of poverty, hunger, endemic diseases, violence, and war, new threats are emerging on an alarmingly vast scale.
Cause and effect and maximum. Life is sacred.
Cause and effect and maxim, life is sacred. You saw life is sacred?
No, but it's implied.
Implied maxim. Okay.
I say definition, division.
And what's the division?
Division between what happened before, what's happening now, is sort of defining what the issue of this paper is, it seems to me.
Okay.
Also defining what weak and defenseless.
Yep. There's actually multiple in some of these. Another one I found in here was degree. So he talks about there's an increase in the gravity of threats to life. That's a degree argument as well. Okay, what about the second one? The second one talks about the medical profession. What did you guys find for this one?
Circumstance,
Contrary.
precedent,
Contraries?
Doctor
circumstance.
should be saving lives.
Yep.
There's also contradiction there.
A contradiction?
The circumstance.
Circumstance,
That's fact.
statistics.
Yep. Yep. And then, did anyone get essence for that one?
Number three.
Essence is,
Number three.
Where's it in your chart? Oh,
the essence is species and essence. Sorry.
yes.
Yeah, provides calm and direct
Yeah.
and defensive.
The essence of a doctor. Yeah.
Cause and effect,
Okay. Number three.
contradiction, cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
Yep. Cause and effect. And anything else in there?
It's a comparison and difference.
Yep. There's a lot of comparisons in all of these.
Yeah.
Okay. But number three was most obviously cause and effect. And four? What about the Pharaoh?
Authority, law, force, precedent.
There's a comparison. There's a precedent. Yep.
Also circumstance, past fact.
Yep. You state. So the interesting thing about precedent is it contains a past fact by nature. So you kind of get two arguments in one whenever there's a precedent. Yeah. But the precedent here is that the Hebrew women said, we will not, the Hebrew midwives said they would not participate. So that's the precedent.
Yeah, we got circumstance, past fact, future fact. You have a past fact that is haunted by current demographic growth.
Definitely. What about number five?
Contradiction
Authority.
and authority.
Authority with the law of God, right?
God.
What's the definition?
An illicit action is always illicit.
Okay, so defining what an illicit action is. Yep.
It's also defining what the law of God is written in our heart.
Yep.
It's also testimony.
Still a contradiction of,
Yeah. Did anyone get circumstance impossibility for this one? Yep. It's impossible to make an illicit act licit. And then what about the last one, number 6?
well, maxims, values, past fact, future fact, degree.
The kitchen sink.
There's also contradiction there too, yeah. How can you repeat that information? It's reconciled.
It's an information.
Yep. Yeah, there's the contradiction was, I think, the most obvious one in here. But,
There's the value of dignity, which is a maxim.
yeah. So, in conclusion, we talked about rhetoric, what it is, why we have it, how Aristotle uses it, and we looked at the topics in Evangelium Vitae. I hope you found this fun, different, enlightening, maybe a little bit, and thank you for your time.
Good.
life? Like you're saying you have the 3 young kids now, like, how does this influence how you operate?
Well, I think that naturally curious people probably do this already without having a name for it. Like when you're like, oh, well, what am I going to say? What am I going to think of? If you do brainstorming, you probably do this already. But I think in professions where you have to persuade, this can be extremely helpful. If you're thinking my argument's not good enough, you could run down this list and see what am I missing. I think I always go to cause and effect, and I always go to statistics. And what this showed me was there's so much more that I'm missing when I'm trying to persuade at work.
So in Gospel of Life, when you mention in vitro fertilization, what's an argument that you would use for that when the argument we're seeing in society so much right now, like the Boozer twins, that the parents had these younger sons in order to bring in the DNA that they had to help cure the older son who had the disease. So they bring about 2 boys, they're going to the NBA, they seem like great kids, and they use in vitro fertilization. And it's been all over the papers, and that's the argument. It's merciful for people who can't have kids, and then when the kids come, how could you look at them and say, you can't have in vitro fertilization? So that's the world's argument. What's the argument, either yours or the Gospel of Life, for like a vitro?
Yeah, the most obvious one that I see is the contradiction of look at this beautiful life that I've created, and look at these beautiful lives I've destroyed. I think that's a contradiction that most people doing IVF, they don't even think about it, or if they do, they suppress that thought. That would be my go-to. I'm sure there are many others.
The reason why they're using that argument is because this particular lady had 2 embryos when she was looking for a sibling, and she decided to implant both of them and not destroy it. So is it still good? That's the argument.
Well, was that the same case or a different case? you were
Different
talking?
case. 'Cause in this case, she ended up having like 20 recruited.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the way that I heard it was. It's the same for the boozers, right?
Losers, yeah.
What I heard is that she decided there were 2 that were viable.
Oh, yeah, she took the 2 viable inside, that's right. But there was others that were created.
Okay, well, in that case.
Same story.
It's the same argument.
Same fact pattern, but you're right, she did put 2 in,
Right.
right, that's the,
That's why she had twins. Okay. But I left you an answer.
Thanks.
That's the thing, I don't think that the ends justify the means. That's where it goes. It's a communist idea.
It's a maxim.
Yep.
It's a maxim.
Maxim.
Communist maxim.
Communist maxim.
Yeah, communist maxim. The end justifies the means.
The Machiavelli's statement.
Machiavelli's statement.
Really, the problem that we have with that, something like that, is that society, not just society, international institutions, UN, and then just one example, they don't consider abortion a death. They don't consider it. So you go into AI, I asked David, could I talk about the document from the Pope, but it turned out not to be what I thought it was, so I'm glad he didn't agree to that. But he didn't disagree, but we're not doing that, so.
Willie's doing it.
Yeah, that's good. The issue is, you go into AI and you ask what's the leading cause of death? It's not going to tell you abortion. We know that's a fact. Worldwide, that is a fact. But that is not even in the numbers. It's not a number. What is the average length of life of a human being on Earth? Oh, it's growing. It's gotten to 72. Not if you put in those abortions, it isn't. You know, so anyway, I'm getting on topic here, but I guess the persuasion, but part of the persuasion they use today is they just don't get, they change the rules.
And different arguments work better on different people.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe personal testimony would be effective with someone who rejects the science or the numbers.
How did you become involved in this subject?
So I'm looking into where to put my kids in school. And there's these classical schools popping up in Miami now, and I said, I want to learn about what it's about, and they had this conference at FIU, and I just fell in love with it. I just think it's really amazing. They focus on teaching kids virtues. They focus on instilling the love of learning, and not just memorizing K through 8th grade, but actually going through logic and rhetoric by the time you're in high school.
So this is a relation, no religious affiliation, right?
Come again?
It's a lace, it's
Does it have a religious?
They have classical Catholic schools. We don't have one in the Archdiocese of Miami, but they exist.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yep.
So what's the name of the school that you were looking at?
The one that's well established in Miami is called True North. It's a secular school. Miami-Dade County just converted a public elementary school into a classical school as well. And there is a Protestant Christian group starting up in Homestead that's doing this as well. So
Miami-Dade College did it as part of Miami-Dade College? Turn it over to somebody else.
this was FIU. No, Miami-Dade County.
Oh, County.
Miami-Dade County converted a elementary school in Kendall. It's called Village Green Elementary. And they taught all the teachers how to teach with this pedagogy, and they converted it into a classical school.
We're still under that, we're still under the county.
Still under the county. Yeah. Yeah.
All I can tell you is to look very carefully into the academia, the teachers, and what the instructors,
No.
and where they come from. Because it could be something that you don't want your kids.
True.
The name True North has always caused, when did they come with True North? What does True North mean? Do you have an idea?
I think it's like a direction, cardinal direction.
True direction. The direction to go.
So, look ahead. Don't they teach this type of, what you're sharing with us at Belém or the Columbus or?
I can't speak for Belen. I did not learn this at Columbus.
Maybe very small amounts.
Small amounts.
Will this fall into a philosophy class?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Philosophy, logic.
Philosophy, yeah, logic. Yep. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. It was like